Samantha insists the remark was damaging and untrue. Meghan calls the whole thing a meritless PR stunt. To make things even messier, Thomas Markle Sr. reportedly willing to testify again.
Today, we peel back the carefully curated image of Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, and reveal a side that the public has rarely seen. Samantha Markle, Meghan's estranged half-sister, has broken decades of silence to disclose allegations so shocking they could rock Meghan's polished persona to its core. According to Samantha, Meghan's teenage years were far from the glamorous narrative the public knows. She claims that in 1995, Meghan was secretly married at just 18. Even more explosive, she had a daughter, Noelle, whose upbringing was handed over to her alleged husband, Joe Julian Zero, and his parents.
It's nightmare, the source says. She's trying to build a brand, land new deals, and stay focused, and now she's stuck battling the same ghosts from her past. Bottom line, Meghan's not backing down.
The young Meghan, Samantha asserts, effectively abandoned her parental responsibilities and managed to keep this secret for nearly 3 decades. For a woman who projects honesty, transparency, and empowerment, these revelations are nothing short of catastrophic. They expose contradictions, secrecy, and a life lived partly in the shadows. A life that may not align with the public image she's fought to maintain. Samantha Markle claims that Meghan secretly married in 1995 at just 18 years old. No public record, no announcement, no media coverage. Nothing surfaced at the time.
She's just trying to move on with her life. She's trying to say that you are obsessed. But you're not going away, and why should you?
Well, it's not a matter of not going away.
This raises immediate questions about Meghan's honesty, both to the public and to those closest to her. A secret marriage at 18 paints a picture of a young woman living a double life, balancing teenage independence with clandestine adult responsibilities. For someone now celebrated as a role model, this revelation is a dramatic contrast to the polished, mature image she projects today. Even more startling, Meghan allegedly gave birth to a daughter, Noelle, in 1995. Samantha claims that Meghan's alleged husband, Joe Julian Zero, along with his parents, took on the responsibility of raising the child.
Said about me that weren't true. And, even though it's not defamation item by item, all things taken together, she had executive.
This scenario implies that Meghan stepped away from motherhood at a formative time, essentially outsourcing her responsibilities. Whether by choice or circumstance, this fuels a narrative that Meghan has historically prioritized personal ambition over familial obligations, a claim that her critics are unlikely to let go unnoticed. Consider the timeline. Meghan would have been 18 years old when Noelle was born. Nearly 30 years have passed, and the public has only just heard of these claims. For someone in the spotlight as much as Meghan has been, maintaining this level of secrecy is extraordinary.
Say things. As a royal and with her PR and with her staff, she has other people put that out for her. And in my opinion, that doesn't make her any.
It suggests deliberate concealment, raising questions about what else may have been hidden, and why Meghan's carefully crafted public narrative appears at odds with these allegations. Samantha's willingness to speak out underscores long-standing family tensions. Meghan has been estranged from several family members, and this revelation appears to be part of a broader feud. Family insiders have often described Meghan as distant, controlling, or selective in what she shares. Samantha's disclosure reinforces this perception, framing Meghan as a figure who keeps secrets even from those closest to her. It's a portrait of a woman who carefully curates her life while alienating family in the process.
About her. I don't have the power to combat the articles that are false that are put out there about me and about my dad.
Interestingly, Samantha references Rachel, now 50, who reportedly had her daughter Noelle at 19 years old. The comparison is subtle but striking. While Rachel's life was lived publicly, Meghan's alleged past remained hidden. This contrast amplifies the controversy. Critics argue that Meghan's secrecy makes her appear duplicitous, living a life of convenience while the truth remained buried. Meanwhile, Rachel's story becomes a yardstick for normalcy and accountability, further highlighting Meghan's alleged attempts to manipulate public perception. As soon as Samantha's claims surfaced, social media erupted. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok users debated Meghan's alleged secret marriage and abandonment of her child.
Horrific. that I saw small towns in Poland. I saw people around the world saying, even Fox News erroneously said Meghan Markle's sister has landed herself on a fixated.
Memes, GIFs, and hashtags spread like wildfire, framing Meghan as someone whose carefully curated image may be a facade. Analysts note that in today's climate, public opinion can shift in hours. Meghan's narrative of empowerment, honesty, and integrity faced its toughest test yet, as millions questioned whether the Duchess of Sussex had misled the world about her personal history. The laughter and outrage online signaled one thing. Meghan's reputation was now being reframed by her estranged family's revelations, and the court of public opinion was not inclined to show mercy. Major tabloids and news outlets were quick to amplify Samantha's claims. Headlines splashed across the UK, US, and Canada highlighted phrases like secret teenage marriage and abandoned daughter.
And Sue, and by the time I figured out what was going on, I hadn't run the statutory window, but I don't have the resources to go and sue.
Drawing the public's attention to a side of Meghan that had remained hidden for decades. The media also analyzed the timeline, connecting Meghan's alleged pregnancy at 18 with her early career ambitions, raising questions about priorities and personal responsibility. Every article questioned how a figure so publicly polished could allegedly maintain such a significant secret for
on a fixated persons list. It's not true. And it was at the direction of her to somebody that worked with her. Shame.
So long. This intense coverage forced Meghan into the media spotlight, not on her terms, but as the subject of scrutiny, criticism, and speculation. Insiders suggest that Meghan has been furious over Samantha's revelations. Sources indicate she described the disclosures as disrespectful and has privately lashed out at reporters and family members who discussed the story. This reaction, while private, feeds a broader narrative of Meghan as thin-skinned and reactive. Her inability to publicly address or contextualize the claims allows critics to frame her as defensive, secretive, and controlling of her.
Think about it. I couldn't have a social life because people believe this stuff. If I went to the doctor's office, people would look at me the minute they heard my name like, oh my God.
Image. Moreover, Meghan's pattern of estrangement from family members amplifies the effect. By maintaining silence or cutting ties, she creates an environment where family members' disclosures automatically gain credibility in the public eye. The revelations also highlight long-standing contradictions in Meghan's public messaging. She often speaks about empowerment, transparency, and female responsibility. But Samantha's claims suggest a teenage life marked by secrecy and avoidance of parental responsibility. Critics argue that this disconnect undermines her credibility.
News. Thank God President Trump pointed it out because it is a phenomenon that we've had a problem with cumulatively, especially in the United States. But I never thought I would find myself in the
credibility. When a figure who advocates for honesty is accused of hiding major personal events for decades, public trust erodes. Every interview, memoir excerpt, and advocacy campaign is now scrutinized under a lens of potential hypocrisy. The alleged involvement of Meghan's husband, Joe Julian Zero, and his parents in raising Noelle adds another layer. If Meghan truly prioritized personal ambition over her child at 18, it reinforces the perception of selective responsibility, a serious allegation against someone celebrated as a role model. What does this mean for Meghan's long-term public?
What experienced it? Your family had experienced it.
Well, William allegedly said the same thing, but it's not like all of these articles said
he
Samantha
did say the same thing.
These articles said Samantha.
Image. Experts suggest that these revelations could haunt her for years. Unlike fleeting media stories, family-based exposés carry a sense of authenticity, as insiders are presumed to know the truth. Socially and culturally, the claims challenge the narrative of Meghan as a modern, empowered woman who navigated hardship with grace. Instead, they paint a picture of a controversial figure, estranged from family, whose public persona may have been carefully constructed at the expense of
the truth. I was out there pointing out what were lies about our family, but she seemingly wanted to silence that bad boy fast. It's like,
transparency. The broader implication is clear. Meghan's carefully managed brand is now vulnerable. Every media appearance, charity campaign, and public speech will likely be viewed through the lens of these allegations. Public skepticism is rising, and trust that took years to build may now be in jeopardy. The allegations, whether fully verified or partially true, cannot be ignored. Meghan's life has always been under public
about this somehow. I can't have Brock go back, pull all of those false citations that were pulling from false aggregate news and leftist publications.
Tell me about it.
You
Well,
can't go back.
public scrutiny. Yet this revelation exposes a gap between her public persona and private history. It suggests a history of selective disclosure, secrecy, and estrangement, aligning with other instances where family members have criticized her for being distant, controlling, or antagonistic. Moreover, if Meghan did step away from raising her child, even temporarily, this fuels a narrative that challenges the carefully cultivated image of a woman who embodies responsibility, integrity, and empowerment. Samantha's revelations not only humiliate Meghan in the public
industry. He describes it as being almost like Photoshop for your face and says you may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. His personal client
public eye, but also cast a long shadow on the Duchess's credibility and moral standing. From a media perspective, Meghan's silence and the length of concealment make this story more explosive. It highlights an ongoing pattern. When personal history doesn't match public persona, it is inevitably weaponized by critics and family members alike. The longer such stories remain unaddressed, the greater the damage to her.
I'm sure it's bittersweet, but yeah, he said before he'd be willing to testify because the truth is the truth. It's
credibility. The revelations from Samantha Markle, coupled with decades of selective disclosure, have placed Meghan Markle under intense scrutiny. What started as a personal family dispute has now become a public reckoning. But the story doesn't end here. This is the moment to ask, what does it mean for public figures who craft images so carefully? And what responsibility do they owe to
the alumni reportedly worked on suits. You wouldn't have met them if Dad had not paid for all of the classes, had you hang out at the studios.
Truth. Tonight, we call on the audience, the media, and Meghan herself to consider the consequences of secrecy, estrangement, and selective storytelling. The implications go far beyond royal drama. Meghan's story, if left unexamined, sets a precedent for celebrity culture and public trust. When personal history is hidden, carefully curated, or altered for public consumption, audiences can no longer distinguish between authenticity and performance. It's not about shaming Meghan, it's about accountability. When someone presents themselves as a role model, the public has a right to demand consistency between words and actions. Samantha Markle's revelations force us to question: has Meghan Markle been fully transparent about her life, or has she lived under the shadow of convenience and secrecy? Meghan Markle herself now faces a critical choice. Will she address the allegations openly and provide clarity about her past? Or will she continue to ignore the revelations, allowing speculation and criticism to dominate the narrative? Silence is no longer neutral. It is interpreted as avoidance, defensiveness, or even confirmation. This is a chance for Meghan to reclaim control over her story, demonstrate accountability, and restore some credibility. The public, the media, and Meghan herself are now at a crossroads. Samantha Markle's revelations are more than family drama. They are a test of integrity, transparency, and the consequences of secrecy. For the audience, the time to act is now. Question what is presented, demand accountability, and engage critically. For Meghan, the moment to respond is also now. Silence is no longer an option. The truth, after decades of concealment, is finally breaking through, and history will remember how she handles it. The choice is clear: transparency or continued controversy. And the world is watching.